Welcome everyone to another tutorial over here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to tune your freestyle sail. I've had quite a few requests for that, yeah, let's get right into it. The first thing that we're going to want to look at is the right amount of downhaul. As you can see, the sail is not ready to go on the water, so we're going to put the right amount of downhaul. This is my 4/8. I've put 22 centimeter extension. It tells me 23, so I always put a little bit less. That's what I found on the Severn sails. And I'm gonna pull, I'm gonna pull, I'm gonna pull. I'm not gonna pull it all the way yet, because I want to go first to the outhaul. Adjust this bit first. So here I'm coming straight to the outhaul and pulling all the way as I would normally do to go on the water. So I tighten this, so like one finishes the other, so you cannot just pull downhaul and loop it around and then come to the outhaul. You have to find first the right amount of outhaul. So you put the outhaul as you normally would, coming back. And here's the important bit. You really want to take care that you're not putting too little. This would be too little. It's very, very baggy. I've seen that as well. But the most common thing I see from a lot of people is they're just pulling way too much. So for me, this would even be too much now. I would not go like that on the water. Have a look. It's really tight, but you have no wrinkles over here. Like if I'm pushing in, there is no wrinkles. What I want is for my sail to be really baggy and to have a lot of power, especially when I duck. I want it to be neutral. When I need the power, that I have the maximum amount of it. So like this is killing your height when you're doing konos or trying konos, switch konos. It might feel a little bit better when you're trying power moves, because it's a little bit more reactive as if you pull a little bit more. What I do might look a little bit weird. I release about 2 centimeters, and now you can hear my sail has got wrinkles and waves in it, which a lot of times, yeah, looks weird, and then we think it's wrong, but it's actually not. So now my sail goes much deeper inside, and as you can see, it's pretty much touching the whole way on the boom, which is not directly a bad thing either. That just shows me that my sail has a lot of power. And yeah, so just try next time you're going on the water to release a little bit of downhaul. As everything, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but what I found is that this really works and improves my ducking. For example, if normally I would duck as a beginner 2 out of 10, and with this trick I can duck 4 out of 10, meaning that you have pretty much double the amount of ducks made in a session, and it's like you're having 2 regular sessions. So you can improve a lot faster with the right sail trim. So yeah, that's it about the downhaul. So yeah, just really quick, the outhaul is not as important as the downhaul, but still very important. So what I always like to do is, it says 158 on this sail. I have it on 158, and I go always all the way. I really want to have a minimum gap over here, and of course feel if the sail is nice and baggy. If it's, of course, if you're pushing a little bit and it's touching all the way, that's not right. And if you are struggling to even touch the boom in this position, that's also not right. So you're gonna want to release a little bit. As I said, I'm gonna have all the specs on the end of this video, and when I'm writing, for example, the 4.4 is saying 156, and I'm writing 154, what I prefer. I always go to the maximum, so don't get confused. There's pretty much never a gap here. I always go full power on the outhaul. So yeah. Okay, next. Ready. So yeah, the next one that we're going to look at is button tension. I've had also a couple of questions now because when I'm in a move and there's taking a picture of me, this sail looks really wrinkly, especially down the bottom here. And the question is, of course, why am I not tensioning, or why are we freestylers not tensioning the lowest two buttons too much? So that has pretty much one reason: to keep the sail flat. What I always try to think of is try to duck a camber sail, because what you're doing when tensioning the button is you're giving it a bit of a curve. Of course, over-exaggerating with a free ride or camber sail, the sail is just straight gonna drop into the water, which we don't want. We want our sail to be always really nice and neutral and not to be affected too much by the wind. So that's the reason we keep those two loose. And moving on to the third top buttons, we're gonna have to remove pretty much the wrinkles. That's what I always like to aim for, because it's really important that these are tight so we don't lose any power. So we kind of want the sail to give a little bit but not let the power out. We always want it to be stable over here, because if you have tried to duck a sail with a lot of loose leech, you will find that it's just dropping on the water. It's really not reactive, or too reactive actually. It's not stable, that's what I'm talking about. And yeah, as you can see, there's pretty much no wrinkles. This bit of wrinkle is normal, that doesn't bother us. So we want to have this top buttons nice and clean without wrinkles. That's pretty much for all freestyle sails, of course. Yeah, that's about buttons. So also super important, which a lot of people don't really consider, is where you're gonna place your harness lines. So now my 4/8, or pretty much the smaller your sail, the more forward your harness lines will be. The bigger the sail, the more to the back. My 5/2 or 5/6, for example, I'm having them right here in the end between 6 and 7, which is super far in the back, and my 3.5 I have pretty much all the way in the front. That's just because the pressure point of the sail is completely different. And now, my really key tip that I've seen from Steven van Broekhoven in an older video, and I've quite liked the idea, and I'm of course sailing like that every day, is having the lines a little bit further back than normal. So now it's not really as far back as I could normally have it. Normally, even on the 4/8, I could have them here. This is because on the light wind, when you have your harness lines further forward, you're going to put a lot of pressure when pumping onto the fin, meaning that you're going to spin out, and you're pretty much going to need a bigger fin for no reason. And the reason everyone is kind of putting them forward is because you feel that you have more power, but that's just not true. You have just more power on the backhand. And yeah, you're always going to have this backhand pressure, which is not ideal. So by moving them back, you're going to feel that the sail is a lot lighter, even especially in the big ones. The sail is going to be a lot lighter, and you're going to think that you're not having the power, but that's not true. It's just that the power is evenly distributed from the harness lines. So you could, if you would let go of the sail, you would get pulled forward. So often I'm just sailing like this with my hands here, both of them in front of the boom, and that's especially really good for light wind. Just try it out. A lot of people who I've shown this to don't really give it a go, and that's just a shame, because I'm really a big fan of it, and I think this has helped me a lot in the light wind, in the patchy wind, and yeah, just give it a go. Just to get the key features one more time. So a little bit more outhaul, a little bit less downhaul. Try to, in the next session, get your harness lines a little bit further back. It's going to help you a lot in the lighter winds. Untension your lowest two buttons and put some pressure just to get the wrinkles away from the top ones. And boom height, pretty much chest high, really simple. But these are some things that are going to help you improve immensely, especially when you're trying tricks that involve ducking. So yeah, that's it for me, and I hope I could help you a little bit out. Cheers.